everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kathy. If you are new here, thanks so much for stopping by. If we painted together before, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Today's video is on how to paint mums. So let's take a look at the supplies that we'll be using and we will jump right in. So we have three colors that we're playing with today. We have Juneberry, Daffodil Yellow, and Thicket Green. These are FolkArt multi-surface paints. This is not a sponsored or endorsed video. I just believe in sharing with you guys the paints that I use every day to paint with, and that I know work well for this method of painting. So the nice thing about multi-surface is that it works great no matter what type of surface you're painting on. So whether you're working on a canvas or a clay pot or a wine glass, multi-surface will work on any of those projects that you're doing. It's a nice thick paint. It's a little thicker than a lot of the craft paints that are out there, and it does have a sealer in it, so that makes it just a very nice product to work with. So those are our colors. We have two paint brushes that we're using. We have a number 12 flat brush, and we have a skinny number 1 liner brush, and we will talk about what each of those brushes do as we go through. Now, if you don't have these exact sizes or even these exact colors, you guys at home, please don't worry about that. Just grab whatever you have and play along, and it'll be just fine. Now, if you do want to refer back to the video later, I will have all the products listed in the description of the video. So we'll have the colors in there, the size of the brushes, where you can find the brushes online. So that'll all be spelled out there for you, just so you guys have that. Okay, I'm going to scooch these out of the way and let's talk about the rest of our supplies here. On the table, we have some wax paper. This is what I use to practice on. Whether you paint with me in person at a live event or here on YouTube, I always recommend you grab some wax paper. It's just a really nice, smooth surface to paint on, and it's very economical. You can buy a roll of wax paper, gosh, for a couple bucks, and it'll last you for quite a while. So that's what we have here. Now, again, if you don't happen to have wax paper today, just a piece of paper, anything to practice on will be just fine. I just want you to grab those paints and paint along. So if you don't have everything exact what I do, that's okay. All right, so that's our wax paper. We have here our styrofoam plate. This is our very fancy paint palette. And I already have my paint on here, but I will talk about this here in just a minute when we get started as far as how to get the paint on your plate. Okay, and there's our three colors. Off in the distance here is just a water basin. That's just to rinse our brushes. And then I also just have some paper towels here handy in case I need those. But really, that's about it, you guys. So let's take a look at our inspiration for today. Okay, this is just a piece of cardstock. It can be made into a greeting card or put in a little frame. But here are our mums. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to load the paint on the brush and how to do the strokes, and then just a couple different project ideas, which we'll talk about at the end. But this is our inspiration, some really fun fall colors. And truly, if you're a fan of mums, you know that you can paint these in any color. Mums literally come in a variety of colors. So whether it's white or yellow or burgundy or, a burnt orange, you can make them whatever color you love. Okay, so that's our inspiration, and I'll be showing you some other pieces as we go through, but let's go ahead and grab our paint and get our paint on our plate. So when you are putting your paint on, I would say about the size of a quarter is about the size your blobs need to be. Okay, nothing too big. You can always add more if you need it as you're practicing. But what you do want to do is leave a little space in between. Okay, so we are using, remember we said Juneberry and Daffodil Yellow, and then you want a space in between here, and I'm going to show you why, because we're going to do something called a blending spot here in just a little bit. And then I do have some green off here to the side that we will use in just a little while. Okay, so go ahead and get your paint on your plate, and then we're going to start off by grabbing our flat brush. Okay, this is our number 12 brush here. All right, so what we want to do is we want to do something called double loading. Okay, and what we mean by that is we're going to put two colors of paint on one brush. So what we're going to do is your brush is going to be straight up and down, and we're going to dip one corner in that Juneberry. I just love this color. It's such a pretty berry color. And then you're going to come over to the yellow and dip in there. So you guys, can you see the brush here? So you have half and half. Then what we're going to do is come back to our plate here. And you want the berry by the berry and the yellow by the yellow. You're going to touch the brush and you're going to really squoosh it down. And you're going to pull it towards you and push away. And towards you and push away. And what we are creating is called a blending spot. What this does is it's going to work this paint up into the brush. And the neat thing is, because we have two colors, you're going to get color highlight shading all in one stroke. So this is just the really fun thing about this double loading, and you'll see when we start painting how neat it is. Okay, we're going to do this, you guys, probably 3 or 4 times. So dip each corner, same we did, and each time you're going to come back to the same blending spot. Okay. One thing I do notice when people are first starting with this method of painting, and double loading can be a little tricky until you practice it a little bit, but people will come in and dip and then make their blending spot all over the plate. You don't want to do that. Our goal is not to paint this plate. We have more fun things to paint. Our goal is to get this paint up into the brush, and to do that you need to dip each corner and go over this same spot each time, because again, we don't care about painting the plate. We're just working that paint up into the brush. And can you guys see? You want to do it at least 3 or 4 times. You want this brush to be very goopy. Lots of paint on there. Okay, and if you look at this blending spot, you can see we have the berry color on one side, the yellow on the other, and then there's sort of a combination in the two, and I love these 2 colors together. I think they are just beautiful, how they make like this almost like burnt orange burgundy color in there. Oh, I love it. Makes pretty mums. Okay, so go ahead and get the paint on the brush. I am going to set my paint or my plate off to the side, but I will tell you, as we're practicing, you guys will notice when you need to add more paint to your brush. Okay, it'll stop gliding. Your strokes will start look kind of funny. That's how you know you need to pick up more paint. When you do, you will grab your plate, dip each corner again, and then blend exactly how we did when we started. So every time you pick up paint, you're going to come back to these same spots in the same blending, okay? All right, so I'm going to set this guy over here and give it one more dip and swoosh. Okay, and then let's go to our wax paper, and we are going to practice this mum. So let's take a look at the shape, okay? You can kind of tell it's sort of rounded, and what we're going to do is we're going to make what I call comma strokes. Okay, so we're going to practice the stroke first, and then we will talk about how to build the flower. But you basically start with what the top center is going to be on your flower. So like we're going to start with these 2 strokes up here, and I'm going to show you. We'll do them together. And then you'll build down one side and down the other, and then a few smaller ones in front. But let's practice the shape first, and then we'll talk about how to build that flower. Okay. A little bit more paint here. All right, so we're going to start here. I'm just going to do a couple down here, and then we'll build the flowers so you guys can see. All right, so it is a comma stroke. So if you think of how a comma starts and kind of curves, and we're going to kind of do a comma and a backwards comma, if you will. But we're going to start with our brush straight up and down. Now you want the berry side on top and the yellow closest to your body. All right, we're going to just touch right on the edge. And we're going to pull it towards you and just give it a little bit of a curve. Now, these aren't really long strokes. These are pretty small. All right, so I'm going to touch. I'm going to kind of lean it towards me, push down. I'm going to slide and just curve just a little bit. Okay, just a comma. Okay, let's do another one. We're straight up and down. Remember, burgundy or the berry color is on top. And we're going to pull it down towards me, towards your body. Pull and slide just a little bit and give it a little curve and lift up. Okay, let's do another comma strike, and we're going to do on the other side. Now, you guys might have seen, I knew I was running out of a little bit of paint. It was feeling a little dry, so I grabbed my plate, dipped each corner, and blend. Okay, same way as when we first were loading our brush. Okay, so let's practice going the other way. We are still going to be straight up and down. Yellow's closest to my body. I'm going to just be right on the edge. I'm going to pull it towards me, leaning that brush towards me, swoosh it down, slide, and this time you're going to curve to the right. This time we curve to the left. This time we're curving to the right. Okay, let's do that again. So we're going to be here, just right up on the edge. I'm going to lean it towards me, so it's leaning towards the body here. Okay, lean it towards you. Push down a little bit, start sliding. As you're sliding, you curve to the right. It's actually easier if you go fast and do it, but I want to make sure we're doing it slow so you guys can kind of get the full effect here. So let's do a couple more of those. Let's practice a few more of those just to kind of get a feel. Now, if you're getting really skinny strokes, like just a little line coming, what you need to do is push down a little harder. The one thing about this brush, the harder you push on that brush, the wider, the poofier those strokes will get. So if yours look really skinny, then you need to push down a little harder, okay? And be careful when you're pushing that you don't go to the left or to the right. When you're pushing to get this stroke, you're going to be pulling down towards yourself. So you want this brush to lean almost, to just kind of pull towards your body. Because if you're going to the left or to the right, it's going to give you a funky shape, and we don't want that. All right, so let's do it one more time. Or a couple more times, I guess. Get you guys feeling comfortable with the stroke. All right, we're going to be straight up and down, right on the edge of that brush. The berry colors on top, yellow on the bottom. We're going to touch. We're going to lean it towards you. Remember, we talked about squooshing that brush down. You're going to squoosh it down, and as you're sliding, you're going to curve to the left. Let's do it again. Okay, we're going to start here. Push down towards yourself. Start sliding, curve, lift up. And you guys can see these are no bigger than an inch. They are not big strokes. Now, if you're doing a very big project, like if you have a big canvas and you want a really large mum, then maybe your strokes can get a little bigger. But for now, I would keep them no longer than about an inch long. Okay. All right, so those were the right-hand side. I'm coming back over and picking up paint. All right, and let's do some that would be the left-hand side of the flower. All right, I had a little too goopy on that one. Okay, so we're going to start here. Same way, brush straight up and down. This handle, you guys, is pointing to the ceiling. Okay, we're going to start on the edge. I'm going to push down. I'm going to start sliding towards me, curve, and lift. Okay, on the edge. You're going to touch, you're going to push it down, pull it like towards you. You're going to squish it down, slide as you're sliding, curve to the right, and lift up. Okay, so those are the basic petal shapes. Now what we need to do is just kind of form them into a bunch. Okay, so we're going to start. So these are those top centers, okay, that we did. And we're going to talk about the difference in this flower, how to make that one look a little different. We'll get to that here in just a minute. So we're going to do those top center petals, and then you'll go down the left and down the right, and then you'll fill in some in the center. So let's build one of these together. Once again, I'm coming over to my plate, picking up paint on our blending spot, back and forth. And you can see my blending spot still looks the same as what it did when we started. So you just want to keep going over that same spot each time. Okay, so let's do a flower here. All right, remember how we started? Straight up and down, the berry colors on top, yellow's closest to me, okay? We're going to start, pull down towards me, swoosh it a little bit as you're sliding, curve, and lift up. Okay, now we want one right next to it, curving the other way, and that will be the very top of our flower. So we're going to start here, swoosh down, slide, and lift. Now we're going to do a few more on the left and then a few more on the right, and that will get our shape of our flower. All right, so let's start here. Now I'm going to come just a little bit to the side, but we're going to just work our way down and add a bunch of that same shape, okay? Everything that's on the left side of the flower will curve around to the right. Everything that's on the right side of the flower will curve around to the left. So you're almost making, like, think of like a bowl kind of shape. All right, we're going to start here. I'm going to come right next to it, and I'm going to squish and pull down, squish and pull down, squish and pull down. Okay. So it's these same strokes. We're just putting them right next to each other. So let's come over on this side. Now we're on the right-hand side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start just straight up and down, push down, curve in, push down, curve in, push down, curve in. Okay, so you have almost like a little bit of a flat bottom to it. The petals are curved. But now what we want to do is we're going to add a second layer in here to fill it in. So this time I'm just going to start right in the middle because we've got a little gap there based on how those first two petals kind of formed. So we're coming down just a little bit. So you don't want to be up here where the top of the flower is. We want to come a little lower. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to touch, squish, slide down, and do a couple off to the side. And start on the left-hand side. We're going to swoosh and swoosh and swoosh. Okay. All right, so remember we talked about building the petals first. That was up here, and now we've put them together. So let's do another one together. I'm going to come pick up more paint, Now, you guys, the beauty of watching this at home is you can stop and start this video as many times as you want. You can practice those petals for, a half an hour if you want, and then come back and work on building it, and then stop it and start it. It's a wonderful thing. It's a little different than when we're painting together live and in person, but this is the beauty of the YouTube, that you can just start and stop. All right, I reloaded some more paint, and you guys can you see how much paint is on this brush? Like, you want it to be goopy. Now, I will tell you, if you're reloading, it will happen. You'll dip in the wrong corner. You'll put the yellow into the berry or the berry in the yellow. It happens. If it does, just wipe off your brush on a paper towel and reload. Not a big deal, and you'll just come back to the same blending spot. It's not a big deal. If at any time you feel like your colors are kind of getting muddy where you can't tell that there's a burgundy and a yellow separately, then same thing. Wipe it off on a paper towel and then just reload your paint and start over. There's nothing wrong with that. You should see when I'm painting at home, you guys. I have stacks of plates on top of each other as I'm mixing colors and doing all that. So don't worry about that. You just wipe off and reload and go. All right, let's start another one here. And then I'm going to show you another trick on flipping the brush just to get a different look on the colors, okay? So we're going to start right where we were. Remember, we're going to do those top two petals first. So brush is straight up and down, berries on top, yellow's closest to me. I'm going to touch, push down, pull toward myself. So push down, curve to the left. And this time I'm going to come right next to this guy, touch down, curve to the right. So it's a little closer together than the last one we did. All right, I'm going to work my way down the left-hand side. And then I'm going to come and work my way down the right-hand side. I'm going to come grab some more paint. And now we're going to fill in. So I'm going to start right here in this middle, a little bit lower, touch and pull down. And then I'm going to do the same on the left and a few more on the right. Okay. All right, so let me show you a different trick here, because if you remember, we looked at this one, and these two are what we just did with the berry color on top and the yellow on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to flip the brush this time and see how this one looks a little different with, I hope the light's picking that up, where there's more yellow on top and burgundy on the bottom. Can you see the difference there? And I'll show you. There's nothing different we're doing as far as putting the paint on the brush. Okay, I'm going to come back, pick up paint, reload. Okay, yellow on one side, the berry on the other. Blend, blend, blend. Dip each corner, blend, blend, blend. You guys will hear that in your sleep tonight. Okay, so in this time, I am going to have the brush straight up and down. We're going to start in the same position, do the same stroke, but this time I have the yellow on top and the burgundy's closer to me, because I just want you to see a different perspective, that all we're doing is flipping what's on top of the brush and what's on the bottom, just to give you a totally different look. All right, so remember, we're going to start straight up and down. I'm going to touch, lean it towards me, push down and slide. And can you see the difference in this stroke now? The yellow is much more prominent as you're looking. Okay, so I'm going to come and we'll do our sides and our sides. And look at the color difference there, you guys. Can you see? And that's just simply by reversing what is on top of the brush. So it's just so cool, this double loading, and how you get all these colors and highlight and shading. Wait till I lift this up and you see just the variations of the color. All right, so we did our left side and we did our right side. I reloaded. I'm going to come back and start in this middle and put a petal in here and then go down the left. Touch, touch, touch. And there you go. Okay, so that's how we build the shape. Now, let's grab your little skinny liner brush. Okay, that we had that number 1 liner, and we're just going to add the top part where the flower meets the stem. All right, and I'll show you how to do that here and how we load this. But you can see here, it's just a little bit of green that goes up onto the flower, and then a pull down. So now this is where you would come and attach some stems, which I'm going to show you an example here in a little bit. But let's practice how to get the base of this flower on. So we're going to grab this little skinny number 1 liner brush. Now this brush we load a little differently. Okay, back when we had our flat brush and we swoosh back and forth, it was a little bit different. This guy's skinny and he only holds just a little bit of paint. So because of that, we load the paint a little differently. What you're going to do is you're going to dip in this green. Okay, so dip in there. And then right next to that puddle, you're going to twist. I don't know if you can see my fingers, but we're twisting, kind of rolling that brush in your fingers. And what that does is you can see it works the paint up into this brush, but it keeps that point together. the beauty of this little liner brush is that this allows you to do little detail work. So we're going to practice these little stem, or where the stem meets the flower. This brush is also great for any sort of curly cues you want to do. If you want to write something, little details, little tiny details is what this brush is best for. Okay. All right. So dip in that green, roll it in there, and we'll get some paint on the brush. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to where our flowers are. And we are just going to start in the center, and we are just little touches, okay, just little touches. I'll show you here. So tap, okay. So here's a bigger, this would be much bigger than what you do on your flower, but we're just kind of doing this sort of shape where you're pulling down a center line and then on the sides. Okay, now obviously that's too big, but that gives you an idea as far as the shape we're going for. All right, so let's look at it on one of our flowers here. Okay, we're going to just touch right here, come up on the flower and just pull down a little line. And then we'll come to the left and do a few more. They get a little smaller as you're working your way down. And then we'll do some on the right. Okay, so it almost looks kind of like a fan shape if you think of that. And then you'll just pull it down just a little bit more. Okay, and that gives you the base of where the flower is sitting on the stem. Let's do a couple more. And remember, you guys will know when you need to pick up paint, and you'll do exactly what we did before. You'll come over to your plate, dip in, roll it, okay, each time you need to pick up paint. Okay, let's do a base on this guy. So remember, our little brush is straight up and down. You hold this brush almost like a pen or a pencil. So if you think of that, you're going to hold it kind of down towards that silver ferrule, and that gives you nice control. We're going to start in the center, okay, and just pull that little green line down, and then you'll go down the left, and you'll go down the right, okay, and then just pull it down into a little bit of a point, okay. Let's do one more over here. We'll get this guy, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. All right, we're going to start, remember, in the center, just pull down, a couple lines on the left, a couple lines on the right, and then pull it down to a point. Okay, let me lift this up so you can kind of see. I want you to be able to see those color variations from our double loading and then what the base of this looks. So here are the strokes that we started with, our comma strokes. So we had a comma and then a backwards comma, if you think of it that way. Okay, and can you guys see these colors? How pretty are these? I love, love, love this Juneberry with the yellow. I think it is just beautiful. And then this is where we had the yellow on top. Remember, we flipped our brush, so yellow was on top and the berry was on the bottom. Look at those colors. Oh, I just love them. And then our little, I'm sure there's a technical name to where the flower attaches to the stem. So if anybody knows that, drop that in the comments. But I just call it the little green part here that attaches to the stem. That's a technical term. All right, so that is what we practiced. Let's take a look back at our inspiration. So this was just, again, just a piece of cardstock. Then these were our flowers, okay. Fall flowers, fall colors, I just love them. But here now, I want to show you this. Now, these colors, remember we mixed Juneberry and yellow, okay, which I love, which I may have mentioned once or twice. But here is an example, again, just cardstock, but look at this. This is Juneberry mixed with white. Look at the color difference, you guys, just by switching up our colors. Isn't that crazy? That's just the beauty of double loading. I just love it. But this is the Juneberry mixed with white. Okay, and can you see it's the same shape we did? We started with the exact same thing, our two petals up top, and then we worked down the sides and then filled in the middle. This top one I made much fuller. It's pretty thick, whereas these were a little bit skinnier, like almost they hadn't opened quite as much as that top one. Okay, and if you haven't already, you need to go back and watch the pumpkin video that I did that was released last week, because here's our pumpkin. This is the exact pumpkin shape that we did last week, only we did it in more traditional like orange colors. But here it is in the Juneberry, and it's got some white and some of this Thicket green running through the pumpkin. Can you guys see that? And then here we've got grass and stems, which I also have a video for. So you can go back and watch a few things and then make this. So how cute would this be as a card for somebody, or even like in a little photo frame, and you could write like a little saying up top? Super cute, just super simple idea. I think these mums would be beautiful also on a tall vase with lots of like tall green grass and then the mums on top. Wouldn't that be pretty? I think I might paint one of those. I think that would just be just a really pretty look. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope this was fun. I hope it gave you some inspiration on maybe painting some fun fall flowers. And again, like we talked about, you can make these mums in any color you want. Of course, there's like traditional mum colors. You have whites and yellows and the burgundies and the rust and the oranges. But you know what? If you are painting something and you have a blue bathroom and you want to paint something for your bathroom, paint blue mums. Who cares? Have fun with it. Make these whatever colors you love. If you want pink mums, anything. It's up to you. There is no right or wrong. So paint some mums, play at home, watch along. If you liked this video, if you would please hit that like button, that would be awesome, just to let me know that you enjoyed it. Again, in the comments of the description, or in the description of the video, I will have all the paint colors and brush sizes, everything we use, so that'll be there. If you guys have any comments, I love when you drop those in there. Please do let me know if there's something about the video that you liked, or if there's something you're struggling with. I'd love to help troubleshoot that if I can. And if there's any ideas of things you'd like to see in the future, let me know. I love hearing from you guys. It just makes me so happy knowing that you're playing at home and painting along. So there is also the subscribe button. If you would consider hitting that, that would be greatly appreciated as well. And that way you'll know when the next video that I upload is live. So you'll be able to catch that one too. So that's the cool thing about subscribing. So thanks you guys so much. I hope everybody has a great day. I had so much fun painting mums with you. I hope to see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.